Join me as I try to figure out the craziest optical illusions that will totally blow your mind. The human brain is an incredible machine, capable of processing vast amounts of information in a split second. But as amazing as it is, it's not perfect. In fact, our brains can be easily tricked into seeing things that aren't really there. That's right, I'm talking about optical illusions. Welcome to the mind-bending world, where what you see isn't always what you get. Our brains interpret visual information through a complex process of light, shadow, and perception. But this process can be flawed, leading to some truly remarkable optical illusions. One of the main reasons we're susceptible to these tricks is because our brains are wired to make assumptions based on past experiences. This can lead to some pretty wild misconceptions about what's really going on in front of our eyes. For example, have you ever looked at a picture that appears to be moving, even though it's just a static image? That's your brain's tendency to fill in the gaps and make sense of what it's seeing. Or, what about when you see a shape or pattern in a cloud or a piece of art? That's your brain's attempt to recognize familiar forms and make sense of the world around you. But as fascinating as these quirks are, they can also lead to some pretty embarrassing mistakes. Like, have you ever seen a picture that appears to be 3D, only to realize it's just a cleverly designed 2D image? Yeah, our brains can be pretty gullible when it comes to visual tricks. So, let's dive into some of the most mind-blowing optical illusions out there. Are you ready to have your mind blown? Take a look at this one. You see those dots moving around in a circle, right? But did you know that they're actually moving in a line? It's just our brains playing a trick on us. What about this one? You see the circles moving in the direction of the arrow before your very eyes, right? But again, it's just an illusion. The circle stays perfectly still. It's just our perception that's changing. And do you see a green dot moving around even though there isn't? Yeah, that's another one of our brain's party tricks. But there's one illusion that takes the cake. Are you ready for it? Okay, here it comes. This is the most shocking illusion of the video, and it's going to blow your mind. Take a look at this corridor. If you place your fingers on the side of the corridor moves slower. But if you place your finger in the center of the screen, the corridor moves faster. But did you know that the speed at which the corridor moves stays the same throughout the video? That's right, the speed stays the same. It's just our brain's tendency to fill in the gaps and make sense of what it's seeing. So, what makes this illusion so effective? Well, it's all about the way our brains process visual information. You see, when we look at an image, our brain is constantly trying to make sense of it, to fill in the gaps and create a cohesive picture. And in this case, our brain is so convinced that there's a hole in the middle that it actually creates one, even though it's not really there. So, what do we learn today? We learned that our brains are capable of incredible feats of interpretation, but they're also susceptible to some pretty wild misconceptions. We learned that optical illusions are a result of our brain's tendency to make assumptions and fill in the gaps. And we saw some truly mind-blowing examples of how this can play out in the real world. Thanks for joining me on this wild ride through the world of optical illusions. If you got a favorite illusion, be sure to leave a comment below and let me know what it is. And if you want more mind-bending fun, be sure to check out my other videos for more crazy optical illusions and visual tricks. See you in the next video.